Hi all, welcome to Telugu IT Factory. Please share and subscribe our videos and channel. Question. Am seeing issues in Docker volumes, and how you troubleshoot anything related to Docker volumes? Answer for this is: troubleshooting Docker volume issues typically involves identifying the root cause of the problem by checking container configurations, volume configurations, logs, and the underlying host system. Here are some steps you can follow. Inspect the container. Use the docker inspect command to gather information about the container, including volume configurations and mount points. Docker inspect container_id. Check container logs. Inspect the logs of the problematic container to identify any error messages or application-specific issues related to volumes. Docker logs container_id. Access the container shell. If the container is running, access the shell interactively to check the application state, configuration files, or logs stored within the container. You can also verify if the volume is mounted correctly and accessible. Docker exec-it container_id/bin/bash. Inspect the volume. Use the docker volume inspect command to gather more information about the volume, such as the mount point on the host. Docker volume inspect volume_name. Verify host system. Check the host system for potential issues, such as file system permissions, disk space, or disk I/O performance. Ensure that the directory on the host where the volume is mounted is accessible and has the correct permissions. Verify volume data. Inspect the contents of the volume on the host system to ensure that the data is intact and not corrupted. You can find the path to the volume data on the host by running docker volume inspect volume_name and looking for the mount point field. Check for conflicts. Ensure that there are no conflicts between volumes, bind mounts, or TMPFS mounts sharing the same container path. Conflicts can cause issues with data persistence and access. Check Docker version. Make sure you are using a compatible version of Docker with your volumes and containers. Some volume features or configurations may not work as expected with older Docker versions. Check volume plugins. If you are using a volume plugin or driver, ensure that it is correctly installed, configured, and functioning properly. Check the plugin's documentation for any specific troubleshooting steps.